always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio. Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the inaugural Caribbean Athlete Retreat has been launched in Dominica. In the news from the region, Venezuela Defense Minister says U.S. fighter jets flew close to Venezuela's shores. Internationally, Morocco's Prime Minister calls for dialogue as nightly protests grow more violent. The details of these stories and more coming up next.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951.
DBS News.
And welcome back. A special good evening to our listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. First off, Chief Executive Officer of Pelago Trips of the USVI, Chelsea Williams, says the inaugural Caribbean Athlete Retreat will foster greater relations between Dominica and the USVI. Williams, the organizer of the retreat, says the event, which opens at Seacliff Eco Cottages in Calabishi tomorrow, will see young athletes from Dominica and the USVI interact for the weekend. Olympic gold medalist and sports ambassador and the destination brand ambassador for Dominica, Thea Lafogatson, will participate in the event.
To our rising athletes, you are why we are here. I hope this weekend inspires you, empowers you, and reminds you that setbacks aren't the end. They're just a part of the journey in becoming a champion. So this is just the beginning. Together, we're showing that the Caribbean can lead in wellness, in sports, and in creating experiences that nurture just not the mind, but also the body. So thank you, everyone, and let us just continue to embrace the comeback with the mindset of a champion.
Organizer of the Caribbean Athlete Retreat, Chelsea Williams of Pelago Trips, Thea Lafogatson, told the launch of the Caribbean Athlete Retreat this afternoon that the inaugural event will promote Caribbean integration.
It is my belief that the Caribbean is only growing stronger, and we only become stronger when we work together. I always say it is one Caribbean, one love, and having you guys here is definitely showing that this is true. This weekend is very near and dear to me. It is no secret that I prioritize the growth of not only sports education and sports on the island, but also I really try to push the importance of self-growth in whole. And I'm always an open book. Honest conversations about what it is to really be an athlete in this sport, to overcome a lot of trials and tribulations, and I have had my fair share, but I really want to be a resource for the young people. This event was created not just as a unifying incentive in the Caribbean, but as a step forward in giving our region accessibility to elite resources. It means so much that you guys took time out of your day, out of your lives, to come and spend a weekend with us. I know that the road to success is not always the smoothest in the world of sports. I know that firsthand, I do. But if this weekend lights a fire of hope, lights a fire of persistence, and even allows you to rest on my shoulder, rest on each other's shoulders for a little bit while connecting, it has done its job.
Olympic gold medalist and sports ambassador Thea Lafogatson. Roseanne Farrington is Deputy Commissioner of USVI Tourism.
And I want to begin today by expressing gratitude to all, not just Chelsea, to the Dominica Tourism Authority, but for the USVI to collaborate with this event and marking this as a historic moment. The gathering that we're about to participate in this weekend is definitely more than an event. In my opinion, it is historic. It is an opportunity for the U.S. Virgin Islands and Dominica to continue to collaborate. We welcomed on September 24th the inaugural flight of Contour Airlines from St. Thomas to Dominica, which continues to reignite the importance of maintaining ties. Dominica is in actuality one of the largest communities in the diaspora in St. Thomas. And in being a part of our community, you have enriched St. Thomas and the U.S. Virgin Islands with your history, your culture, your norms. It is definitely an important to our people in addition to the Dominican community for us to continue to do all that's necessary to encourage continued collaboration.
And that was Roseanne Farrington, Deputy Commissioner of USVI Tourism. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Fenella Wenham Shepherd, is optimistic that the 4th edition of TV Village Creole will surpass last year's patrons of approximately 9,100. Her comments came at the launch of the 2025 TV Village Creole this morning at the Discover Dominica Authority. This 4th edition of the event will take place from October 20th to the 23rd, 2025 at the Botanic Gardens.
This marks the 4th edition of TV Village Creole, an event that has gradually found its rightful place as a household name and cultural product in Dominica. Last year, TV Village Creole attracted approximately 9,100 paying patrons. This year, we are seeking to surpass 2024 by 50%. The Ministries of Labour and Tourism within the public and private sectors are proud to recommit to this vision. TV Village Creole is not merely an event. It is a platform for commerce, exposure, entrepreneurship, networking, reconnection, entertainment, cultural affirmation, and nation branding. Over these 4 days, we expect Dominicans from every corner of the island and visitors from abroad to meander through our village, our tea village of music, food, crafts, storytelling, demonstrations, and immersive experiences.
And that was Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Fenella Wenham Shepherd. Event manager of TV Village Creole, Karim Geist, says the event is a collaborative effort between the government and the private sector.
I really want to overemphasize the point that, this is really a mix of private sector and public sector partnership. That is important. Without the private sector partners, we will not be able to save TV Village this year. Without the public support from the government of Dominica, we will not be able to get the resources to get TV Village off the ground. I don't know if you all have paid any attention to what the amount of resources that are being utilized to push TV Village. Well over $500,000, to be honest. So it's a significant contribution, significant investment by the government of Dominica to ensure that there is a space for artisans, a space for small businesses, a space for artists, a space for vendors alike to, one, have their products, services available for purchase, to display their talent at a safe space. I think every year we get this one opportunity to bring the creative space in Dominica alive, and that really gives us joy to help the over 100 vendors who are being part of this exciting project this year.
Event manager of TV Village Creole, Karim Geist. This year's TV Village Creole will place focus on honey. Zadie Trocat of the Dominica Grammar School is representing Dominica at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Tourism Youth Congress in Barbados. The regional event, which is currently underway, is taking place during the State of the Tourism Industry Conference. Trocat earned the opportunity to represent Dominica after winning among 5 participants in the local Tourism Youth Congress, which was held in May during Tourism Awareness Month.
It is a privilege to represent my school, the Dominica Grammar School, and my country on such a big stage. I want to share ideas that can help us build a more connected and sustainable Caribbean, and I hope to make Dominica proud. Today, I will present on the topic, Connecting the Caribbean with Sustainable Transport.
And that was Zadie Trocat of the Dominica Grammar School. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has announced that security officer Vescott Jones of Margot, who lost his job in 2014, will be reinstated. Jones lost his job after the then leader of the United Workers' Party, Lennox Linton, attempted to leave Douglas Charles Airport with crabbacks. Linton was prevented from leaving the airport with crabbacks, but it was reported that Jones' action should have been more severe. Mr. Skerritt says the matter needs to be resolved.
I met Vescott Jones no less than 4 times or 3 times. during the years and trying to resolve the matter so we can move forward, obviously recognizing that it is before the tribunal. But I try to use my good offices as Prime Minister to resolve issues between citizens and state agencies or the government and so forth, because at the same I represent both, and I cannot cause injury to each other, so I have to be very careful. And of course my intervention is always about using my good offices to resolve the matter. But the previous instances did not work, and we met with Vesco Jones last week, and I believe that there is an understanding of going forward to resolving the matter. So very soon I will write to DASPA to advise them of the action that they should take in respect to Vesco Jones. One of his being that he should be reinstated and be given the salary that he would have, a percentage of the salary that he would have lost during that period of time. And let us move on. My mission is to set aside contentious issues as much as I can and resolve things outside of a contentious environment as much as I can, so that we can all live together. Maybe by tomorrow I will write to DASPA to advise them on the action they should take in respect to Vesco Jones. This also brings in a bigger question which I believe the government needs to address. That is the issue of the function and the functionality and the efficiency of the tribunals. Tribunals take way too long to hear cases.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt. Forest engineer in the Forestry and Wildlife Parks Division of Dominica, Felix Eugene, has issued a warning about the offenses people may face during the hunting season. The 2025 hunting season in Dominica has officially opened and will run from September 22nd, 2025 through December 31, 2025. Eugene emphasizes that individuals wishing to hunt must possess a valid hunting license.
With respect to the hunting season, you must have your license. The law demands that you have a license. The law demands also that you carry that license along with you. And whenever you are being approached by any officer, I'm talking about a forestry and wildlife officer, you'll have to issue that license. But with respect to the penalties, there are severe penalties when it comes for that. With respect to illegal hunting or illegal possession of wildlife, you will have to declare how you get that wildlife and under what permission you get that wildlife. Because by right, you're supposed to have your hunting license in order to hunt. So if you cannot come up with your hunting license, then you will be arrested. The vehicle on which probably sometimes the exhibit is found can be seized. The aircraft also can be seized. The boat also can be seized. So that is something that is very, very serious, and one should guard themselves against all those things.
Forest engineer in the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division of Dominica, Felix Eugene. His comments came on the Ministry of Environment radio program on DBS Radio this morning. Branch manager of the Dominica National Lottery, Ironia Stedman James, has highlighted the impact of the blast mystery progressive on Dominica's economy. Her statement came as Haitian national Ibenz Sanon and small business owner and mother of two children, Sarah Latham of Mont Prosper, were presented with their winnings this morning. Sanon was presented with checks of $276,510, whilst Latham received $110,246.
Since the introduction of Blast Mystery Progressive, we have had a total of 11 jackpot winners with payouts exceeding $3 million, $3,166,237.31 to be exact. Additionally, we've paid out $190,000 in BMP prizes, which are guaranteed to our winners who enter the mystery game. Blast Mystery Progressive is making waves across Dominica, and almost every month we have one or more winners. In July, we had 4 winners who collectively walked away with over $755,000. And for the month of September, we have 3 winners who will take home a total payout of $741,966.60. This truly demonstrates that the Blast Mystery Progressive is a jackpot like no other. It changes lives and contributes positively to the economy.
Brands manager of the Dominica National Lottery, Eronia Stedman James, taking us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go! Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951. DBS News.
And welcome back. Now, news from the region. Venezuela has said that it had detected 5 U.S. fighter jets flying close to its shores, adding to tensions with Washington, which has ordered a major naval buildup in the region. In a TV address, Defense Minister said that Venezuela's air defenses and the tracking systems of the country's biggest airport detected more than 5 combat aircrafts which had dared to approach the Venezuelan coast. Venezuela's left-wing authoritarian president Nicolas Maduro has accused U.S. President Donald Trump of a covert bid to bring about regime change. U.S. forces have blown up at least 3 boats belonging to alleged drug traffickers in recent weeks, killing at least 14 people. Internationally, Moroccan Prime Minister has said that he was open to dialogue to end youth protest as security forces prepared for a 6th night of demonstrations that have escalated into riots across the country. Hundreds of people have been arrested and injured, with buildings ransacked and cars torched since the protests began on Saturday, initially with demands for better education and healthcare. Though crowds have not been huge in numbers, the increasingly violent protests have brought the worst street unrest in Morocco since mass demonstrations in the Rif region in the northern Moroccos in 2016 to 2017. A 5th night of protests on Wednesday brought the first reported deaths, with authorities saying the security forces had shot and killed 3 youths armed with knives who were trying to steal weapons and ammunition. This brings us to the end of this evening's news. Up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
It's always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports Report for today, Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. First off, Chairperson of the Commonwealth Games Athletes Commission, Brendan Williams, says the inaugural Caribbean Athlete Retreat in Dominica this weekend will give young athletes the opportunity to interact with stars such as Thea Lafogatson. The retreat, organized by Chelsea Williams, Chief Executive Officer of Pelago Trips of the USVI, has its main attraction Olympic gold medalist triple jumper Thea Lafogatson.
Let me just thank the organizer, Ms. Chelsea Williams, for bringing together this retreat to life, making a dream of positively impacting the athletes' lives and bringing industry leaders from across the world, across the region, and persons with the know-how, actual world champion, persons of major games organizers, administrators, and accomplished coach as well will be along on the panel. So let me just thank you for bringing that vision together, where our athletes in this space can come together for sports development. I see it as an opportunity that will highlight or share or bring together shared knowledge and experience between different cultural perspectives, while strengthening the bond between 2 countries, that is, Dominica and the USVI. Additionally, the primary objective is to highlight the importance of sports. Sports, which is a tool that can be used to build discipline, teamwork, and resilience while shaping future leaders and also creating superstars. Also, I foresee this retreat as a legacy in the making, which will become one of the biggest forums in the Caribbean for bringing athletes and like-minded individuals in sports together.
Chairperson of the Commonwealth Games Athletes Commission, Brendan Williams. The retreat takes place at Seacliff Cottages in Calabishi this weekend. India dominated West Indies on the opening day of their first Test match, trailing the Caribbean side by 41 runs with 8 wickets remaining at the stumps today. After choosing to bat, West Indies were bowled out for 162. Justin Graves made 32 runs, Shea Hope added 26, and Captain Roston Chase 24. Dominica's Alec Athenes got 12 runs. Bowling for India, Mohammad Siraj took 4 for took 4 wickets for 40 runs and Jasprit Bumrah free for 42. In response, India got to 121 for 2 at close of day 1. KL Rahul was not out on 53 and Shubman Gill was on 18 not out. Acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant says as part of Dominica's education reform, schools are being encouraged to make physical education a more integral part of their curriculum. His remarks came during the 30th Sports Division School Sports Awards on Wednesday. Over 200 awards were handed out to deserving students and schools during the ceremony at the American Canadian School of Medicine.
You will agree with me that sports can be one of the greatest teachers. It teaches us life skills like teamwork, discipline, resilience, and leadership. I am sure that your engagement in sports have taught you how to set goals, manage time, overcome challenges, and respect others. These qualities are preparing you for the workplace and for leadership roles within our society. These are some of the reasons why our government continues to treat sports as an essential pillar for youth development and nation building. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the government of Dominica understands that without proper support, talent won't flourish. That is why we have made significant investment in sports infrastructure and provided several athletes with financial backing that they need to succeed. We are investing in the people side of sports. We have supported coaches through youth programs. We have worked closely with schools to ensure that physical education is not just an afterthought, but an important part of the school's curriculum. In fact, as part of the thrust towards education reform, we are encouraging schools to make physical education a more practical part of the timetable. And this government continues to stand beside our athletes as they pursue their dreams, providing scholarships, financial support that they may need to compete and excel. And in the most recent case, we highlight Trinise Hamilton and Stefan Pascal.
Acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Fenella Wenham Shepherd, called on the student athletes to adopt a community spirit.
I want to encourage us to continue to build a culture where sports helps to strengthen not only your bodies, but also the friendships. I know that we have students from various schools here with us, and you have friends from across Dominica. And some of you might think, but Miss, we live in Grand Bay and we have friends in Portsmouth Secondary. That's the vibes. That's what we really want to happen. So we're not just building stronger bodies, but we're also building stronger friendships. And once we do that, we build stronger communities and a stronger Dominica.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Fenella Wenham Shepherd. The crisis in USA cricket has deepened, with the USAC initiating bankruptcy proceedings as part of what it said was a structural reorganization. Terming it as an aggressive and legal move, the USAC said it was necessary to ensure the future of American cricket. The development was made public in a media release where the USA Cricket said it had voluntarily filed for the financial reorganization under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. The USAC decision is concerning as it comes about a week since ICC suspended USA Cricket on September 23rd for serious breaches of membership criteria. USAC Chief Executive Officer Jonathan Atkinson said in a media release that one of their motives behind the financial restructuring was to also address the ICC suspension. In more news into football, 2 goals from Karen Magloire as the Foncole FC punched their ticket into the quarterfinals of the DFA Division 1 League as the round of 16 got underway last night at the DFA Technical Centre. Foncole cruised to the 5-1 win over the All Saints. Cordell Joseph, Dwight Walsh and Rick Nation also scored for Foncole. Action continues in the round of 16 tonight with Wayne George Academy taking on St. Joseph FC and RC Doctors playing Kensborough FC. More sports with a Jamaican franchise on course to return to the Caribbean Premier League next year. Jamaica Cricket Association President Dr. Donovan Bennett says he wants the new owners to help develop young talent in the country. As first reported by the Jamaica Observer in August, the CPL are in advanced talks with an Indian Premier League ownership group for the franchise's reintroduction into the region's T20 showpiece following a 2-year absence. In early September, the Ministry of Sports and the Ministry of Tourism announced that they were finalizing arrangements for a public-private partnership ahead of the 2026 season. News emerged last Friday that the co-owners of IPL franchise Delhi Capitals, the GMR Group, are set to become the new owners of what would be the 7th CPL franchise. It's unclear whether the franchise will continue as a Jamaica Talawas, but CPL Chief Executive Officer Pete Russell told the Observer that it's their intention to work with the new ownership team to have a name that resonates with the Jamaican people. And finally, in sports this evening, Namibia and Zimbabwe have booked their places in the 2026 Men's T20 World Cup after reaching the finals of the African qualifying tournament in Harare. Namibia beat Tanzania by 63 runs in the semi-finals to reach the 4th successive edition of the finals. Host Zimbabwe then cruised to a 7-wicket victory over Kenya to qualify for the first time since 2022. Namibia and Zimbabwe will meet in the tournament finals on Saturday, with both sides knowing they will travel to India and Sri Lanka next year. 20 nations will contest next year's World Cup, which will be held from 7th of February to the 8th of March. This brings us to the end of this evening's News and Sports. Special thanks to the DBS News and Sports team and link personnel DJ Hillabwai.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 2nd day of October 2025. We begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio death announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Mr. Mannix George, age 84, of Penville, who resided at Portsmouth. He was the husband of Clara George. He was the father of Roy and Julia George. He will also be remembered by his stepdaughter, Mauricia Paul, his grandchild Kieran, his adopted son Frederick, daughter-in-law Lisa Georges, his brother Renix George, nieces Marjorie, Emma Finn, Velma, Fredeline, Lorraine, Cleffa, Petrona, Nurse Claron, Claudia, Sandra, Ennis, and Julian, his nephews Gregory, Riviere, James, Arlington, Joseph, Aaron, Randy, Augustus, Raphael, and Perseus. Godchildren, Darren, Tyreek, Anisha, and Shirkwan. Close friends and relatives, Joan Raymond and family, Wilson, Romy, Rudolph, Matterville, Jason, Junie, Roland, Garnett, Magdalene, Raymond, Owen, Ma Passon, Ma Pini, Father Herman Chaplis, and Father Paul Patik and Royston. Special mention, the Penville Catholic Choir, Portsmouth Dakamen Group, St. John's and Lewis Parish, the entire communities of Penville and Glanvilla, nurses and doctors of the Reginald Fitzgerald Armour Hospital and Alfred Ward of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, and other names too numerous to mention. The body of the later Mr. Mannix Georges of Penville, who resided at Portsmouth, can be viewed from 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, the 4th of October, at the Portsmouth Catholic Church. The funeral mass takes place at 12 noon and will be followed by interment at the Portsmouth Catholic Cemetery. We announce the death of Miss Natalie Mary Marie Harry, better known as Suey or Souse, age 79, of Salisbury. She died on Monday, the 15th of September, at her residence. She was the mother of Clavia John and Anne Vidal. She will also be remembered by her son-in-law, Reed John, her grandsons Noah, Brad, Bruce, and Deontay, Her brothers Alan, Karam, and Manny. Her sisters Gloria, Yubel, Monica, Isla, Christine, Inkler, Gwenny, and Lena. Her nieces to include Tana, Elisa, Raina, Marilia, Kartika, Drusilla, and Kellyanne. Her nephews to include Philipson, Tim, Joey, Rainey, Jamal, Garth, and Johan. Her aunt Silma, brothers-in-law Hilaire, Arthur Lee, and Bertrand. Sister-in-law Maureen. Stepsisters Anaya or Nia and Ellie. Step-brothers Nibs and Patrickson. Grandnephews Dane, Paco, and Dershon. Other nieces and nephews to include Maynard, Julia, Laureen, Dee, Kathy, Fanny, Selma. Close cousins to include Eucynthia, Milda, Modestine, Deborah, Ronnie, Matson, Vera, Itty, Delia, Cleve, Randy, Ardu, Irene, Eugenia, and Wildays. Also Athleen, Donnie, Mark, Hubert, Becky, Maureen, Cassie, Sheena, Olive, Delia, and Gilbert. Other close cousins Cheddy, Johnny, Vernell, Donna, Lynn, Miss Uella, Patrick and Jerry Williams, Miss Anne, Sandra, and Hylias. Close friends Medixie, Heslin, Connie, Jarnine, Luisma, Lorraine, Mertina, Diane, Usil, Uni, Mornette, Bianca, Nella, Miss Jessie, Sasia, Polydor, Merlin, Set, Meme, Dr. Bertina Luis, so that's Dr. Bertina Luis, Sis, and Cassia. Neighbors, Julo or Hulo, Marie, and Claude Santos. The Salisbury Health Team nurses of Moses, George, and Jack. The Harry, John, and Coppel families of Salisbury, St. Joseph, and Petit Soufriere, and the entire community of Salisbury. The body of the late Miss Natalie Mary Marie Harry, better known as Suey or Sauce of Salisbury, can be viewed from 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of October at the St. Teresa's Roman Catholic Church. The funeral mass will take place at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the St. Teresa Roman Catholic Cemetery. And staff of your nation station DBS Radio extends deepest condolences to all bereaved. So I present to you this evening's edition of the general announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We begin with this announcement from Dowasco. Dowasco informs customers in Coolibishtree, Monrachet, and Grand Savan that they will experience intermittent interruption in their water supply on Friday, 3rd October 2025, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. as a result of ongoing works in the area. Dowasco sincerely apologizes and regrets any inconvenience that may arise as a result. Dowasco thanks customers and the general public for your cooperation and understanding in this matter. Shopee is pleased to welcome Quartz Unicommer as a new biller on their platform. You can now pay your Quartz hire purchase and ready cash loans at any Shopee location island-wide. You can also make easy payments via their online website or mobile app. Visit www.shopee.com paybills.com, or you can call 440-6000 for details on all the bills you can pay.